So, welcome back, ladies and gents. What a fantastic game we had up first here in the Season 3 of the WoT Pro League. And, well, I cannot believe what a result. We had 3-2. Dignitas really being pushed by some of the very newest teams. It was absolutely incredible. Really a bit of an upset there, to my eyes at least.
Yeah, it was very interesting to see Ensk and Matchday just put pressure on such an experienced team. And with such great tactics as well. I mean, we were talking a couple of their weaknesses being a bit short-sighted in some of their plays, but generally their ideas are very good. They just need to continue doing them and just make sure that they have all the elements of the game that good instead of just a couple of them. Yeah,
just really hammer down that execution. I'd love to see what they can really bring. And speaking of newer teams to this season as well, we've got another bit of a treat coming up for you. It will be Team WD up against Playing Ducks in just a moment, and that's going to be another brilliant one. And where's your prediction on that?
I think, you know, Team WD, they picked up their first win, so I'm hoping that they actually get this ball rolling here. But Playing Ducks also look very strong. Yeah, they do look really strong, and I want to see what they can do here. But still, that's our thoughts towards it. I think I'm going to go for Playing Ducks. I think it's a safer bet there in the nicest way. But, yeah, I'm sitting kind of on the questionable fence. I'm not sure. Team WD can bring something to this one. But still, we want to know what your thoughts are back at home. Obviously, we don't get to see for you guys, but the ever-delightful Melly gets to talk to you guys in Twitch chat and obviously gets to know all your predictions. So, Melly, how can people at home get involved here in the studio?
It's actually pretty easy. You can just head over to our social media platforms on Facebook and Twitter and like and follow us. So that's the first step you have to take to be part of our community. Also follow our Twitch channel to make sure to get notified as soon as we're going live to don't miss any minute from now on. And we have a challenge on our Facebook page where you have to first vote for your favorite team in the upcoming matchup. Either it's Team Western Digital or Playing Ducks, and of course you have the chance to win bonus codes by simply putting your predictions in the comments below. I will pick 3 winners, which will be rewarded with said bonus codes, and that's not the only way to grab those nice codes. Sorry, I'm saying bonus codes way too often, but you can't mention bonus codes often enough because they're awesome and we all love them and we all want them. Head over to Twitter and tweet us everything what's on your mind by the use of hashtag WoT Pro League, and there you will have also the chance to grab one of 3 bonus codes. And since it's Halloween, I don't know if our new viewers that just tuned in noticed our beautiful decoration.
They're subtle, aren't they? Like, there's a very small knife hanging out of one, if you hadn't noticed. It looks about 10 foot tall next to Ollie. For some reason, it does look about, it's like a gigantic meat cleaver next to your head.
It's really big, and it kind of scares me as well.
Yeah, people in the chat are scared that you're just going to pull off that knife, Ollie, to be honest.
Steven's not here, we're okay.
So that won't happen. I can calm you with that. And we have a challenge running on Facebook. We want your pumpkin carvings.
Yes.
Send us your masterpieces. Be creative. The only thing, it should be World of Tanks themed, and as we also tried, and a lot of gold is on the line. So I think it's definitely worth checking out our social media platforms.
Get involved. You heard it there, well, from Melly herself. It's an easy way to get some gold in your pocket, and especially there's a lot of gold on the line there, actually, if you do one of those pumpkin carvings. Make sure you check it out. 10K. It's not a small amount of money, is it, folks? It's something to get your knives out for. That's a sentence I never thought I'd say down a microphone, but still, get going on it. Anyway, let's get back towards the World of Tanks here, and let's look towards that head-to-head here for that second game. So, it will be the one and only Team WD facing off against Playing Ducks. Take us through this roster.
So on your left is Team WD, sitting currently last, actually, since Seven Sins isn't in the league anymore for quite some time. 1 win and 12 losses, not particularly great by any stretch of the imagination, only sitting on 3 points at the moment. It's Mikizio heading up the team there. And we've got Mr. Chef down as well. He's kind of their co-leader, I guess you can call them. We've got David, he plays that T1. We've got Bontus Kirk, MX39 DTC9 player, and obviously 505, the resident heavy tank player for that team. For side of Playing Ducks, we've got C, team captain, resident team captain there. We got QQ, A Luta, their star player, definitely an AMX3090 superstar to keep an eye on. Iceman plays the heavy tanks as well. So we got 2 good teams, I think, pretty equal in terms of player skill. Playing Ducks seemed a little bit more clinical in their play. They're definitely, very regimented. They train a lot. They're very good at going forward, especially on heavy tanks orientated maps, stuff like Himmelsdorf, Ensk, and Roonberg. Well, Team WD definitely more willing to, try something new and really just come up with good tactics on the fly. Sometimes works out for them, sometimes doesn't. They're kind of like a Spale, but a Spale like a year ago.
It's oddly enough that I think it was Spale who actually lost to them, and it's a little bit of irony there. But anyway, you've got the players, you've got the way to get involved. Absolutely everything for your predictions to be absolutely spot on. So with that in mind, let's get towards those tank picks into the first map, which will be Prokarovka. What are we seeing so far here?
So we got the standard tanks at the beginning. Obviously, this is Prokarovka being such an open map. It's going to be the AMX 1390s, which is going to be the star of the show. The T1 AMX 1390 is Playing Ducks' first pick. T1 AMX 1390 also been picked by Team WD, but Playing Ducks going for that T1 T69 as well. So just a mixture of AMX 1390s and T69s, obviously, at the beginning. It's what we'd expect. As we progress through tank picking, we're going to see something like a Pershing 416 could also come out.
Yep.
It's really what the team start liking. It's a good tank. Prokarovka a little slow, but then again, it's not really that much slower than the T69. But some say the T69 makes up for that in the burst damage it does.
Yeah, and who do you think has the advantage on this map? I know there's a safe bet, but Team WD really do bring some kind of interesting strategies through, as you mentioned. Do you think Prokarovka could accompany that, or kind of encompass it into its sort of map style, or is it a bit too clinical these days for that?
I think Prokarovka does allow for that kind of thing. I mean, it's a map you can try anything on, and as long as it's not too crazy, if it's just creative, then it can certainly work. It's always an interesting map. T1 AMX 1390 coming from Team WD, AMX 1390 for and the Pershing for Playing Ducks. But this is a very strange pick coming out from the Western Digital side. It's the double IS3, which we've never seen before, ever.
No. We did see...
Oh, yeah, we've seen it.
Was it Odin Mortis?
Yeah, they picked one IS3.
But that was a random kind of situation. What does that really kind of entail now to you that they've gone for that? Is that the counter to the T69?
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely the counter to the T69 because you can't penetrate the IS3 with a T69, as I said, about 50% of the time if you're lucky. So that's going to be interesting. But the thing is, with the T69 still fast enough to get behind the IS3, and obviously from behind, it's just wet paper. It's very easy to penetrate, very easy to take down. So if Team WD allow that to happen, then the IS3s are going to be useless because they're slower. But if they can just use them to good effect, get them in a brawl of some sort, then they can certainly be very good. Obviously, the IS3s, another one of its weaknesses is it doesn't turn its turret too quickly. It sometimes struggles with that. But the last pick from Playing Ducks will be the T69, and Team WD going for another IS3 here. So this is just ultra odd. I mean, obviously the 8.9 has brought the 742 patch. This is kind of like what we've seen on the 742 mode, and I guess they've seen that it works against the T69, the AMX 1390 lineups. That's why they decided to pick on Prokarovka. But playing, a random team in 742 is different from playing a team like Playing Ducks, who are a steadfast Pro League team.
I'm really curious to see where those IS3s are going to be playing. Is it a village push? Is it maybe a bait to make them think it's a... I really don't know where we're going to be seeing those IS3s play. I appreciate the idea of obviously challenging down those T69s, but still, you've still got a Pershing, 2 1390s to worry about. That's a really all-in strategy.
It's going for everything. I mean, if it works, I guess it's going to be like one of those epiphany moments, and teams will start leaning towards it. If it doesn't work, then it's just going to be like, oh, okay, I guess we're going to lose the first map. But altogether, Playing Ducks have got the double AMX 1390, double T69, double T1 Pershing lineup, while Team WD triple IS3, double AMX 1390, double T1. So at least they have the two AMX 1390s to kind of counterbalance that slow IS3 in the mix.
Well, it seems though everyone is ready. Some strange, crazy picks in the mix. Let's find out here on Prokarovka.
Prokarovka, a large map at 1,000 by 1,000 meters which allows teams to stretch their legs and artillery to test their skills. There are 3 primary routes of attack: over the left tree road, the middle area, and towards the town. The tree road is very open and flat but has a very large number of bushes and trees that provide good cover if you're not shooting. The middle area is where the initial engagements happen as teams gather as much information as they possibly can. Both teams are fairly symmetrical and only offer small hills and brushes as cover. The middle area is where the initial engagement happen as teams gather as much information as they possibly can. The railroad that splits the map has a large number of bushes running alongside it that provides good cover and the occasional route of attack in the village and hill area. Teams should look towards taking fast tanks and artillery as they complement each other on this expansive map.
So welcome into the first map. I'm having a bit of a strange day today, to say the least, but let's hope these two are absolutely spot on, because the Playing Ducks will be in that the north spawn in the gold and yellow, whereas it'll be the opposition starting in the south in the blue as Team WD. What are we seeing so far here? Team
WD going for the smart thing, pushing their 3 I3s towards the village and sending Makisi up towards the mountain. The only guy who's really on the limb is Mr. Chef and Uto Kepes playing the MX-1390 and the T69. They are in the bush and also scouting the middle. So kind of a nice little split up for them. Playing Ducks, though, definitely gone for the usual tactic from the south, going up towards the middle with the T69s, using that gun depression as well as the Pershing, which also has similar gun depression levels, trying to get the initial damage off. Obviously not connecting anything as the MX-1390, Mr. Chef, kind of got away scot-free. But it'll be interesting to see how they really use these IS3s, Team WD. I think they, as I said, done the smart thing, playing more kind of the city side of Prokarovka, if you can call it that, more of a village, where they can use the cover and they can't get flanked quite as easily, and using the MX-1390s up the hill to really provide that firepower. But they're going to catch Skyrim from behind if he doesn't be careful.
Yeah, indeed. You can see that buy now coming in. Skyrim has been held in place for a moment. 961 HP left towards him. QQ has retained that full HP, and they're desperately trying to use this tiny bit of cover to keep them both safe from the firing squad. They're staring them down, and Merkizio splitting off as well could really cause trouble, and actually Playing Ducks aren't looking so good right now. That
was a very interesting couple of shots. I mean, Mr. Chef took down the only Neo, and honestly, if all 3 of those IS3s that hit Skyrim, then that's 1,200 damage off the 1,350 he has. So only hitting one of those shots, definitely not a good thing. I think that was their opportunity to really come ahead on this game at the beginning. And now the IS3s will struggle a little bit more as Playing Ducks start to really adapt and strategize. But Mikizio is going to be peeking over. This seems a bit reminiscent of what we saw from Team Dignitas. And honestly, it's looking extremely good for Team WD. They have the firepower, they have the HP advantage, and they have the positional advantage.
Yeah, they certainly do, and I want to see what they do with it. They're not a team that normally wastes that. And let's see if they can pull it off in this moment. Scarrin and QQ almost negated from this battle right now as they are playing that defensive game. You've seen Mr. Chef back there just holding them in place. Now, the only players that are free are the 1390s and the Pershing. Other than that, those T69s are held firmly in place. World of War has been spotted out. No further connections towards him. He's going to be sticking around that 1249 HP for now. Iceman looking for a shot, but he knows that they can't play aggressive here. Morwa are really on the back foot in that aspect, and, well, their game plan has been kind of noted, and it's only a matter of time until Team WD make a move.
It's on Iceman at this point. He's playing the Pershing, and obviously that Pershing has 268 millimeters of armor, so any damage that goes towards the IS-3 will undoubtedly be majority from his guns. Well, he has to hit those shots. He's obviously connected one onto World of War. He's down to 1249. But as I said, all pressure onto Iceman, and going by Top Gun, it's not really that well because he had to tell them that he got the best better of him, and the storyline of Top Gun.
That was really well explained.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You did as well as Goose did.
I was trying to remember the guy who's main character of Top Gun. It'll come back to me at some point. But Nicholas Black making shots over across towards Iceman. Obviously, the Pershing's turret is pretty strong. It can absorb a lot of damage. The mantle, 265 penetration from that BL9, 122 millimeter, not quite doing the damage. We had won.
No, indeed. And
Tom Cruise, that's the one. Yes. Wow. That would have annoyed me for a very long time.
And what's his name in the film?
Oh, Maverick.
Bam,
that's it.
All right.
Iceman had to apologize to Maverick, and they had an emotional moment. And that's what Iceman might have to do in this moment if he doesn't come on top.
We're going to stop you talking about movies right now because QQ and Scarin are on the move. They've managed to escape those IS-3s that were staring them down. That Pershing coming into effect as we know it can. Once again, hitting World of War, knocking him off that ideal HP even further. But you can see Siege has received a shell, and there's a little bit of a split play. It's a 2-2. Oh. My God, Nicholas Black. That was stunning. Absolutely decimating Siege there. That's going to really, really hamper MoreWoT's ideas here as Iceman now receives a shell. This is unbelievable.
That was a stunning little cracker from Nicholas Black. Obviously, Seek took a lot of damage from Mr. Chef in his AMX 1390, but then Nicholas Black with the blind shot across the whole of the map with the BL9, which doesn't have the greatest accuracy in the world, to say the very least, just decimating him. Truly a brilliant shot from him. Very, very good play. He's definitely a very talented IS3 player. He always plays it on Himmelsdorf. And this is Team WD playing to their strengths. They know they have the good IS3 players. They know they can use them, and they know they're reliable. You know, World of WoT, he's down to 996, but that's pretty much the base HP of an AMX 1390, and you can see how much damage Nicholas Black can shrug off. He's taken at least 4 or 5 shells, and he's only 500 or even less than 500, 470 damage in the worst. And Team WD, they have the 8-point advantage. They have 9 points in total. Seek being a tier 8, and the only Neo being a T1. 1 plus 8 equals 9, so 9 points in the lead.
Yeah, and I feel it might even come down to that at the end of this, unless MoreWoT actually find something to do here, aka playing ducks, because right now it's, you know, the defensive line of Team WD, and there's nothing they can do to break through it. As you said, that penetration being such a key point. Scarin's down low in the T69 already. QQ's not managing to land those shells. He's staring down Dugges, looking for an angle to find. But there's just nothing happening easy for them at all. There is literally no way through.
But Nicholas Black is going to try and connect a shell onto QQ. He's in the center. He probably will hit it. But will he do damage? And QQ does take 240. That's probably from Makizio on the MX 1390 from the side. He's playing it very well. He's just getting in there, getting out, getting the damage down. He's got to be careful because, you know, the IS3s can take a pummeling, and you can see World of WoT is down to 763. A little bit more than half HP there, about 60% HP off him. But he can just sit back and make sure he doesn't take the shells, and then let Dugges, who's still quite healthy in 1,264, take the majority of the damage on the majority of the shots.
Yeah, and Team WD just playing for that long game right now. You can tell they're doing it. They know what the advantages that they have are, and they're just keeping that in mind. They've knocked Iceman down to 649, and MoreWoT need to make a move here. They have to make something happen. Otherwise, Team WD will just sit back. They're going to play it smart. They're going to play to the tanks they've picked, and this just shows how important that shot coming out of Nicholas Black was, taking down Siege. That has allowed the advantage to be on Team WD's side. Yeah,
it was almost a gift. They gifted him.
Yep.
They gifted him Seek, and he was kind of like the sacrificial lamb. And honestly, that was kind of unfortunate for playing Ducks, because I think they could have got themselves a win here if they managed to keep the MX 1390 in the fight with majority HP, because so far what their plan seems to be just trying to get the IS3s down, and the IS3s, you know, they're playing it in the perfect position. They're hull down. They have everything going for them. Okay, if the IS3 was a little bit more accurate, it'd be a little bit better. But you can't snipe across the whole map with a T69 onto an IS3. It just doesn't work. They're just going to turtle down. Team WD are just heading back into the base. They've got an inkling that playing Ducks are going to make their next move. So they're going to sit back in the base, get themselves some good positions, put the MX 1390 of Makizio onto that hill, and make sure that they retreat Mr. Chef and the MX 1390 as well. And just leave the T1s to go forwards and do the majority of the spotting, the rest of the work in this game.
Yeah, really well thought out late game there coming in from Team WD. And what can MoreWoT actually do now?
They can just try and find another tier 8, and they have to find a tier 1 as well. 505 will undoubtedly go down if they continue pushing over the hill, because he'll get spotted very quickly, despite the T1's definite good camo value. But what they're going to do from there on out, Team WD have the higher ground, and the gun depression of the IS3 isn't great, but it's good enough to make the shots anyway. But playing Ducks are going to go in, and they're going to go in for the push. They're going to try and take down the T1, but QQ, he's in the line of sight.
Yeah, and they haven't actually spotted him out yet. Playing Ducks have no idea where the opposition is. They're just receiving shells. They finally caught a glimpse of where World of WoT is, but by now, Iceman's so low, there's just a firing line with 1 minute left. The Playing Ducks seem as though they're about to be served up by Team WD if they keep this one up. Mr. Chef backing off, playing smart. He knows he's in probably a less brilliant position than the others. Wu is going to be going towards him for a moment, but backs away, now looking out for those IS3s, still trying to challenge one down, but look at the damage coming out straight away. There goes Wu, and now it's just a matter of time before the rest of the team gets swept up. Skyrim moves in, QQ as well. 35 seconds left. Playing Ducks need to make this one count right now as Dugges is backing away, using that just defensive nature of the IS3, but he's going fairly low. This could mean trouble. Team WD actually not getting away from this scot-free. QQ takes him down. What else do the Playing Ducks need to do to bring this one back in?
Well, they can't do much because Mr. Chef is just going to take down Scarin, and he's going to pick up Iceman, who was already taken low from the earlier game, and it's only QQ left in the fight.
Yeah, QQ now left in a terrible situation. Nicholas Black pummels him down, and Aryo, the last man alive, with 4 seconds to remain hidden in that bush. But Team WD coming out with a curious start. But my God, did that one pay off? So congratulations, guys. We doubted your picks for a moment, but those IS3s really came into effect.
And we can already see how that team mode, I mean, if I'm guessing right, that team mode is affecting how these games are played. As I said before, because you can't pick the maps in the team mode, you have to kind of just think of what's the best lineup altogether.
Yeah, the all-rounder tank.
Exactly, and that usually involves multiple IS3s. So they obviously played Prokarovka a number of times, saw that the multiple IS3s won against the T69, the AMX 3090 lineups. They came up with a good strategy, which was push into the village, and then just realized that there's not much Playing Ducks could do. But then again, I think Playing Ducks, if they played it properly and thought, you know, how are they going to move on from here, they would have won it. But gifting C, you know, giving away just because of some good shots by Mr. Chef, they almost certainly wouldn't have taken it back from that point.
This is, they're even asking, was that last shot blind or what? Like, how the hell did you land those? And it was absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning, stunning stuff. And a little bit of luck, maybe, but still, very impressive stuff coming out. And, well, that's the start Team WD needed. If they were going to get themselves into this one, they certainly need to pick up the first map. And they've been struggling all to this point, but brilliant start for them. Absolutely brilliant. So, second map will be Himmelsdorf. And what sort of picks are you going to see? Do you think we have any crazy picks, or is this going to be your normal, finally, Himmelsdorf?
Yeah, I don't think going to go for anything Ulansk and Fantasia-esque. We just saw how Team WD can use the IS3s to greatest effect, so undoubtedly we'll go for that lineup. T1 AMX 5100 for Team WD, T1 AMX 5100 for Playing Ducks as well, and the last pick from Team WD being the T1 AMX 5100 as well. So I think we're going to see just the difference between if a team picks the triple IS3 or if a team picks the double 5100 triple IS3 or whatever. Or, you know, the difference.
What about the 110 though? Do you think that might come out?
Yeah, I think it could do. I mean, we've seen it from Ulansk Vintage, but I don't think we're going to see it here, to be honest. So I think, yeah, triple 5100 or triple IS3 is your two picks in this one. And so far, it does look like that. T1's 5100 is going to come out from Team WD as their next one. T1 IS3 for Playing Ducks before Team WD go for the triple IS3. So it's very likely that Team WD will go for the triple IS3 lineup, as we saw it on Prokarovka. 5100 IS3 for Playing Ducks. I think they are going to go for... I don't know. I think triple 5100 possibly. It's not exactly a counter to the triple IS3, but if you can get it into the right situation where you're kind of just using at least two of them just to focus down one or two tier 8 tanks, and it's absolutely superb. Obviously, two tier 8 tanks, you know, it won't quite do that amount of damage. It'll do 3.6, and that could be borderline between a killing and IS3 because you're very unlikely to penetrate all 6 shells.
So we saw the last map. That was a little bit of a curious one anyway, but on paper, who does this one favor?
I've always thought, you know, Playing Ducks is a very good, very good city map to players. I think their team is kind of brought up on city maps and definitely a challenger to a team like D-Nova, who are considered the best city map players, or at least Himmelsdorf players in the league, as well as you know, your Virtus Pros and such. Last pick from Team WD will be the 5100, so they're going to go for the triple 5100, double IS3, double T1, of course. Well, Playing Ducks going for the last IS3, so they're going to go for the triple IS3, double 5100, double T1. So Team WD with the extra 5100, Playing Ducks with the extra IS3.
Well, it's a matter of time now if Playing Ducks can actually get back into this one. They certainly need to do it. We've always seen that Team WD can be dangerous, and, well, maybe it's going to be another Spale incident here, and the Playing Ducks will actually fall to the hands of them, but still... Himmelsdorf, very different map. We're not seeing the 110s this time. We're seeing the usual lineups. IS3s, 5100s, that big, heavy kind of battle going through. Both teams are getting themselves ready for this one, so it's only going to be a matter of time before they get underway, and I cannot wait for it. So, guys, let's get that video rolling for Himmelsdorf.
Himmelsdorf is a city maps of city maps. It's a small one being 600 by 600 meters. There are 3 routes of attack: the hill, the banana, and the train side. The middle area is relatively easy to push, however can end up in disaster as you can be flanked from every side. The road, often called banana, allows for direct head-on assaults but requires a lot of resources. Both the railroad area and the road next to it are good routes of attack, being very open and straight. However, for those very same reasons, you can be easily caught out and taken down. The map features many densely housed areas, which provides good places for engagements and routes of attack. Teams must be aware of the various routes their opponents can take through the map, as well as the hull-down positions enemies can take throughout the entire map. The trick with Himmelsdorf is to catch an enemy tank unsupported by his teammates and then use that advantage to collapse on the entire enemy team.
So welcome into the second map. As Joe said, it's going to be Himmelsdorf, and in the north, in the gold and yellow, it's the Playing Ducks facing off against the southern blue Team WD. And right now, we've seen both teams spawn each other out early on, but what are they getting up to?
Team WD pushing up towards the hill with the 5100s and sending Makizio alongside with them. Duggett's going towards the 8 line. He's going to be responsible for both going up the hill if the 5100s need support, and also supporting the Banana Road, the 8 line. But World of War is sitting there, as well as Nicholas Black. He's in charge of that middle shot with the HU ammo at the beginning. Playing Ducks pushing over towards the 1-2-3 line with most of their tanks. Pretty standard start from the north, and leaving the T1 up towards the right-hand side just to make sure that nothing's coming around sneaky from Team WD. Uto Keps has been spotted though. It's the T1, so he's going to be kind of locked down. But having been spotted, it gives Team WD a good idea what Playing Ducks are doing, at least at this early stage.
Yeah, a little bit of information goes a hell of a long way in this game. And it is all about that kind of chess game of back and forth, of working out where your opposition is and then moving from then on. So right now, once again, Nicholas Black has been spotted out. Iceman, however, this time will land the shell as that reload was available. That's a lovely bit of opening play. If they can keep doing that, that's not a bad way to go at all. But where do you think these teams will actually meet towards the middle half of this one?
I think Team WD have always been a very good, it's kind of hill team. They're very good at kind of engaging there and coming up with ingenious ideas as to where to go there. But it'll be interesting to see how they can use this information. Obviously, the 5100s, having 3 of them, it's going to be very good for them because they can get the shots down onto Skarin and Iceman in the middle. Skarin's taking 1. He's down to 1,200. But Wilson Fush, he does connect a shell onto Uto Kepes. That's going to be very good news for Playing Ducks because the T1 is such a key, important factor on Himmelsdorf. You can hardly say that, but Skarin's in big trouble.
Yeah, Skarin is in trouble. He's going low, 609. He's trying to keep the attention of the rest of the Team WD side as his team is moving up those 1 and 2 lines. But look at that, he's tracked, he's held in place. He's not going to be able to escape, and he's been blown up. 505's not going to miss that shell. And Wu, Siish, and every other member of the Morwa, aka Playing Ducks side, now needs to make sure this push counts. They need to make sure those kills come in when they matter, and that those shells are landing.
I can't believe they actually fell for that, to be honest. I mean, we always see teams going up there with at least a couple of tanks. So quite often we see teams going up there with a couple of tanks. And if you actually fall for it and get connected along that, D line, then you kind of deserve it because it's such a normal tactic and it's such a, classic one. But it does look like Playing Ducks are trying to do, some sort of counter by pushing a tank into the middle. That's Wuston Fush, Seek, and QQ all there. Duggett's has managed to connect a lot of good shells onto him.
Yeah, but look at Iceman right now. He's right around the back of Nicholas Black, who's trying to get in there. Duggett's has found the shot onto QQ, but Iceman needs to get involved in this. He needs to stop the people pushing through. He's too late to it, but 12 seconds left. This could go right down to the wire. Duggett's now pushing in. Oh, the shell did not come in when they needed it. Iceman must have tried to stop Duggett's. The clock will remain. 2 seconds left. Make it 1. The clock's almost run out. Will it get reset? I think the Morwa have actually done it here. My God. Literally at the last second, they've actually managed to pick that one up. That was unbelievable. How the hell did they just do that?
They just went all in. It's an ultra cheesy tactic. I mean, McDonald's,
wow.
You should be learning because that's some good cheese right there. And I didn't really expect them to go all in, to be honest, because having lost an IS-3 and a 5100, I guess they were kind of bait because it gave them enough time to come around the 1-2-3 line and get themselves in the cap. But
wow.
A little bit of a late time for Team WD. But, 5100's late to the party. You kind of deserve your comeuppance.
You kind of deserve your comeuppance. Wow, that's harsh. That's harsh. Wow. But no, I'm really surprised Doug has waited so long to get involved then as well.
Yeah.
Like, normally he tries to get around, but it just didn't seem to be working there for him. It's kind of surprising.
I mean, Douglas did a good job of taking down QQ in his 5100.
Yeah.
But because he did that, he couldn't reset the cap. So he went for the easy frag as opposed to actually winning the game.
Yeah.
But then the buck can't really stop with him because it should have been up to his
There's
flanking.
a hell of a lot of other team members
Exactly.
there.
I mean, the T1 should have been in some sort of position to deal with it, and also the 2 flanking 5100 should have been in there to deal with it. So you can't really blame Douglas.
I'll try not to. I won't hold a personal grudge against him. God, I'm so rude. But yes, it is 1-1 currently. So it's still pretty even, and that strategy was cheesy as hell, but still, it worked. So, I can't say much about it. It's, if it works, it works. At the end of the day, that's as simple as it is. And if that's what they have to go back to, then fair play. But still, we are going to have to find out, because the third map will be Roonberg, which is a completely different kind of map going on. We saw a bit of a cheesy strat last time we saw this in just the other match. I don't know if we'll see that again. Do we think either of these two teams will be a city-style map kind of team, or are they going to be going more towards the usual exchange down that kind of Crescent Moon area?
Yeah, we know Team WD like the double 5100 lineup on Roonberg. They like to go for that southern double 5100 to kind of push up towards the 0 line. But it'll be interesting, if playing Ducks or if Team WD go for just the middle brawl. And usually the team which kind of gets into a little bit better positions or even just connects more shells without bouncing or doing no damage against the tracks or whatever, end up taking the win. So I think we might see some sort of city push. I would have expected that to come out from playing Ducks, but playing Ducks just about won the city. Well, they lost the city brawl, but they won the capping race on Himmelsdorf. So I'm not sure how confident they feel.
Curious questions now being raised about both of these teams, and I'm not sure I want to put my money right now, because normally we don't see these guys depending on cheesy strategies to actually pick them up maps, and maybe it's a lack of confidence in themselves that's just going to be shining through now that, it's both sides of the coin, isn't it? You couldn't stop it, but then again they had to depend on it to win. But let's get ready for those tank picks. They will be beginning. Is there going to be any crazy ones, or is this going to be your normal Roonberg? Because how much variation can you bring here?
You can try. We've seen teams try. KV5 has been out. The IS3s have been out as well.
Yeah,
from
I'm still
Outsports.
not a fan of the KV5.
Yeah, I'm not a massive fan. Dinova, you should really not have picked that tank. T1 MX3090 for playing Ducks. T1 MX3090 for Team WD. So double MX3090, double T1. Just getting the standard picks out the way. Obviously, the MX3090 for that initial spot. T1 T69 for playing Ducks. I think obviously we'll be seeing the kind of stranger picks, you could call it. Towards the latter stage of tank picking. But so far, both teams just mirroring each other step by step. T1, T69 for playing Ducks and Team WD. But playing Ducks going for the 5100 and the T69. But as does Team WD. So just back and forwards with the normal picks.
Yeah, mirrored so far pretty much. And who's got the favour here? Who's got the advantage?
I would say this is definitely onto Team WD because they've seemed like a team that have really tried to improve on this map.
Right.
And they're, 12 wins, 12 losses and 1 win. So I think they have that behind them.
Not sure about the T32 here. What do you think about that? Because Mort's just gone for it.
We've seen the T32 on Roonberg last match day. It didn't actually work last time, but it could have certainly worked. It did the most damage for the team. I think that was the encouraging sign at least. But yeah, the rest of the team has to pull their weight as well. It can't just be the T32. So that will definitely give you an idea of what Plain Ducks want to do. Push up towards the middle, the Crescent Moon area, the F line, and just use that hold down 298mm of turret armor there. T69, last pick from Team WD, making it a 5100, a T32, a T69, double T69, double T1 for Playing Ducks, 5100, double T69, MX3090, and another T69, and a double T1 for Team WD.
I still have my questions around that T32. I'd like to see it actually in play and really used well. I'm not sure if I really trust it quite just as of yet, but maybe, just maybe, it'll start kind of edging its way in towards, my favour. Maybe like the 416 has started to get, and maybe we'll see the likes of Dignitas possibly running it on their maps. What do you think towards that? Do you think Dignitas would ever go for something like this?
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, now I'm just making sure these teams are ready. I think Team WD just want to sort something out before they start here. Obviously, with it all tied up, all even, this is the one to give them the advantage if they go for it here, if they go for that all in. And, well, they might be just rethinking things now. They've seen the T32 up in play, quite possibly. Maybe that's a bit of a question mark they have to raise with each other. How do we want to handle this? Do we now know what they're doing? Is that tactic now being told to us? How can we counter it? Now, if you saw a T32 in play, How do you counter that? Because you can assume it's going towards that crescent moon. How do you counter that one?
You just have to use the 5100 to really get behind it or get in anywhere really, because it has 264 millimeters of penetration or 65, and just pummel it to death. Just get it out of the equation straight away. Make sure you at least connect all 6 shells and do that 1.8k.
Well, let's find out if they can do it, which we will be finding out here on the 3rd map, Roonberg.
Roonberg is one of our newest city maps, and it's fairly large, being 800 by 800 meters. There are 3 main routes of attack: the roads leading to the city, the road going through the middle, and the village area. Each of these have 2 important areas to control. The city has very large roads and plenty of opportunities for teams to flank. The long roads also provide for good sniping areas as well as corner shooting. Teams often push through the village area, and once controlled, the team can move on to the enemy's base. You should pick heavy tanks with high alpha damage for corner sniping, as well as a faster tank for the middle spot.
So, welcome into the 3rd map. It's going to be Roonberg, and in the north, in the gold and yellow, it's going to be the Playing Ducks facing off against a rather southern, rather blue. Team WD all tied up, all even here, and this will decide who's going to get that advantage. What are we seeing so far?
Kind of a little strange thing from Team WD. They sent the MX-1390 towards that city. I guess that's not so strange because it can get the side shots, but it might not have reload. And the T-69 is just going up towards the F line. 5100 in the background going towards the 0 line, as so predicted. Playing Ducks, as also predicted, going up towards the middle with the T-32. The 2 MX-1390s meeting each other in the middle like we've seen so many times before. Both will have reload at the same time, but both have to get themselves into a good position, make sure that they're not just focusing on each other, but also helping their team out.
Yeah, and we're going to find out who's in the better position. Oh, Mr. Chef really reading that terrain well. Going to be still able to connect those shots if he needs it, but it's a matter of time. He's now going to be focused out by Seish, but look at this. Wu still going back and forth with Nicholas Black, trying to get those shells to connect in that T-32, the questionable T-32, but right now it's doing the damage it needed. Mr. Chef has taken down Seish, but there's the reply. Wu did do the damage. Iceman picked up the kill, and that's what they wanted for a start here from the Playing Ducks.
Wustenfusch is also trying to get himself into the fight, and he's actually mitigated quite a lot of the damage. He can really start creeping in as well. QQ's down to 338, but World of War, he's taking a hell of a lot of damage, down to 897. Duggars also have to be playing very carefully, and it looks like Playing Ducks are edging themselves into the lead.
Yeah, they really are here. Bit of a rarity to see, but let's see how they handle at a later stage, because World of War has gone fairly aggressive, and he went to straight out challenge Iceman, who's going to back away a touch, use the slight deflate of the hill, and try and adjust the position, allow QQ to pick up the mantle. And now we see the adjustment happening towards this mid-stage of the game. We still see Wu there, we still see Duggars there, I do believe, who's just using the cover of his fallen teammate, Nicholas Black. But outside of that, it's slowed down now. We are seeing everyone get to those more standardized positions, but still, the damage was done so early on that even though Playing Ducks may have the advantage, the HP's not ideal.
World of War is also going to connect onto Iceman. He's going to take him down. Good little exchange for him. World of War only receiving 1 shot from QQ. Scratch that, taking 2 shots. And, okay, the Playing Ducks are down 2 tier 8 tanks. They're certainly taking a lot of damage onto Team WD, and Wustenfusch is going to push forwards.
Yeah, indeed, he's pushing straight in to try and even that one up, but Mr. Chef with the shot comes straight in to save Duggars. Beautiful play from that man right there. He outplayed the other 1390 initially in this game, and he's done it again. QQ will fall as well, and this is going ever so wrong for the Playing Ducks, and the crossfire that Team WD just set up is absolutely sensational. 505 from the village. Duggars, and I believe the other, was Mr. Chef there, have just eliminated them 1 by 1. Only tier 1s left alive, and that's a matter of time. And this seasoned team of Team WD apparently just knows this map inside out. Absolutely brilliant play. 505, Mr. Chef, that 5100, that 1390. The Frenchmen in those, the French tanks in this one really are doing the work, and that was just beautiful.
Very, very nice. And that's not an understatement at all. Mr. Chef will ram out the only Neo. Giving a 2-1 lead to Team WD here, and going back to Roonberg, I think what was nice is Playing Ducks kind of fell into the trap of Team WD. They saw Duggars on his own and kind of unsupported by the rest of his team, but he wasn't unsupported. He had every single line of fire onto him, ready to deal with anything that pushed. Playing Ducks tried to push onto him because he's always alone, but then he took shots from the 5100, from Mr. Chef and his AMX-1390, from everywhere. But I think what Playing Ducks should have done is just keep their T-32 in the middle and just push up towards the village and just go for that village engagement instead of trying to retreat back with the 5100, which got it killed in the end. Some good play by World of War, really instinctive stuff to actually know when the other team's going to retreat. So yeah, just generally better play by Team WD.
Yeah, and Mr. Chef, that initial exchange with the 1390 of Siege was absolutely beautiful. He got the higher ground, he positioned himself better, he won that exchange, and then he went on to create that brilliant crossfire, as you mentioned, really made it work, covered off Duggars, and that was just beautiful to watch. That's really impressive stuff, considering, you know, Team WD have been struggling this season. Seeing them play like this is just, you know, displaying how strong this season is getting now. Everyone's getting onto that kind of really high point in their gameplay, so we are ready for that next map. They're not waiting around at all. They're getting ready for Ensk right now. The tank picks are just about beginning, but I'm just so surprised at the caliber of games, because sometimes I worry when we watch, you know, Team WD that, you know, they just kind of throw it away, but right now they are proving certainly worthy of being here.
They might have just got a little bit unlucky in some of the other match days, because they certainly look like a strong team. And just a team that's improving a lot, and you know, they had a better season 2 and then a season 3, so they've changed a couple of players. A bit of their roster changes have certainly helped, certainly given them some motivation, some momentum going forwards. T1 MX5100 will be the first pick from Team WD as we go in, as you said, into our next and fourth map, Ensk, and now 2-1 lead for Team WD. Only the thing to do for playing Ducks is just to make themselves more, you know, open to some better tactics, you know, more, you know, diverse tactics, and not just thinking about the next tank they have to kill. Yeah,
it really seemed tunnel visioned what they were doing. They didn't have that overall plan. It was like, okay, let's play reactively and then not know what we're really doing. It was, it's a little bit surprising because they've been so good so far.
Yeah, I think playing Ducks just maybe in, you know, a team that struggles a little bit towards the, you know, latter half of the season.
Yeah.
Maybe that middle slump really coming into effect against them. But T1 AMX5100 for both teams. T1 AMX5100 for both teams again. So double 5100, double T1, standard pick at the beginning. Double IS3 for Team WD. But this is the first interesting pick. Playing Ducks, taking that 110 alongside the IS3. So they are going to go for the really strong armor of that. And again, that's because of the IS3 nerf to the turret. 5100 will be the last pick from both teams as well, making Team WD's final lineup a triple 5100, double IS3, double T1, while playing Ducks, slightly more interesting, 110 IS3, triple 5100, double T1.
Well, it's time to find out if that 110 can actually do the work. He'll be in the hands of Scar in there, so eyes towards him in this game, and I'm sure he can do it. He's a very capable player. Both teams are ready, and it's all a matter of can Playing Ducks bring it back even here, because we are ready for the lovely map of Ensk.
Ensk is a simple map on the face of it, but requires the most skillful team play to play properly. Being such a small map at 600 by 600 meters, the areas of attack are confined to through the city, through the railroads, or through the green zone. The fearsome city side, often famed for its fierce firefights, the railroads and green zone areas are hard to play as they have many death alleys. The railroads provide little cover but good sniping locations. Tanks can shoot over and navigate through the trains to ambush and weaken the opposition. When playing Ensk, always keep in mind that teams may try and rush for the cap and not go for the city brawl. Also, take tanks that can both deal a lot of damage and react quickly to missions.
So, welcome into the fourth map here. In the north, in the blue, it's going to be Team WD facing off against more WoT or Playing Ducks in the south in that gold and yellow. What are we seeing so far?
Playing Ducks, Team WD even going towards that green zone, so they're not going for the city at all. They're going to be favouring that side, which I think is a good one. Although Nicholas Black and World of War, as well as Douglas and Mr. Chef in the 5100 and the two IS3s, sitting back one a little bit. The T1's gone forwards, Mikizio to the left, Uto Kepes in the middle in the city. He's gone just to make sure he's trying to get as much information. He's in the hold down position, although it won't make very much of a difference in a T1. Playing Ducks also headed over towards the green side. That's pretty much the whole team. So a lot of teams really switching over from that normal, what we saw, the normal kind of city brawl, to just playing a little bit more clever and coming up with a bit more ingenious tactics over towards the green side, which is what was the standard on Ensk through, you know, when it was first introduced, but seems to have been phased out a little bit.
Yeah, and they struggled against Denova using this tactic, if I believe correctly. Iceman played well, but Denova just kind of ran over them. And even though they tried this exact tactic out, it just really did not pay off. And this is why Iceman already been taken low. He's down to 7-7-1, and he has no idea where that came from. They've already lost the tier 1 as well. And this is just not a great display of what this side of the map can hold.
That's going to be hard for him to get himself into a firefight. Now Dugges and 505 have done so much damage. Those two have been absolute beasts this whole match day, really helping their team out. Dugges on Himmelsdorf, superb play from him. Obviously, they didn't win that one. Plain Duck's only map to pick up was Himmelsdorf. But that was because of a rather interesting push. Yeah,
now look at the change, though. These guys are changing up. Last time they stuck it out and they tried to make something happen from this green zone. They did not adapt over here. What do you think they're up to now?
They've taken some damage and they know roughly where Team WD are, and they've said, okay, they're in that XYZ positions. Those are better positions than we're in. We can't do what we wanted to do. We can't push up. Let's try something new. Let's try something fresh. Let's push over towards the city. And obviously knowing that Team WD have some of their tanks over towards the A0, A9 line, they can do that with pretty much peace of mind. Hopefully maybe even catch out a couple of tanks. The only one who's really gone to the city for Team WD is the Uto Kepes T1. He's going to be trying to 50-meter proxy this way, 50-meter proxy this way. But if a tank just decides to push up in front and around, he's not going to spot anything. And the only time they're really going to know that move is when they engage onto these tanks here.
Well, we're going to find out momentarily, because here there comes that T1. Siish and QQ just waiting back. They will deal that damaging blow in just a moment. Here we go. Siish leans forward around there, gets that one off nice and easy. And now we see this central position, the main exchange area, in the hands of WoT. And, well, they played it interesting. They've got 3 here, so you got Siish, QQ, and that tier 1. And then almost the linebackers further back. You got Wu, you got Scarring, denying the rotate. So they're kind of working out, or at least trying to cover themselves off now.
I think the best move from Playing Ducks would just to be push all tanks up into the city and just come around onto Nicholas Black and World of War, as well as Mr. Chef. We've seen it time and time again. You can kind of hold off the other team when they push like that, but you can't win. You can never win, especially with the 5100s up here. So I think that would be the best move to do, but we'll have to wait and see if that one actually pays off. It doesn't look like they're going for that. Playing Ducks now on the rotate back towards their base, maybe up towards the green zone, hoping that they caught the Team WD AMX5100s going back to support their own team.
Yeah, and have they actually done any of that right now?
Not really. 505 and Dugges have obviously moved about 100 meters from here down to here. But it's, yeah, okay, they're not in the best position in the world anymore, but they are still capable of doing a serious amount of damage. And now that tank has been spotted down there, it's the IS-3, it's going to be a tricky thing for Playing Ducks to really push off and win this one, because if you want to catch a team by surprise, then don't get spotted.
Yeah, and well, they've certainly had their game kind of found out by now. And with 5 minutes and 34 seconds left, as you said, there's a little bit of a limited amount of what the Playing Ducks side can do. They're kind of on the back foot here, not only losing those tier 1s, but receiving damage so early on, really not going to help them out. Iceman being so low down onto 7-7-1, and that was from a blind shot pretty much coming in. He had no idea where that one came from, and you can see in the way they're playing right now, they're looking for a way back through here. They're looking for a bit of a aggressive push from Team WD, but I don't see it happening right now. They're kind of playing that waiting game. Yeah,
both teams not happy to push forwards. Both teams obviously seeing that the other one is outmaneuvering them or just staying put like Team WD. 5 minutes into the game, 5 minutes left. Plenty of time to do anything, plenty of time to still take the win. But one of these two teams has actually got to make the first move. And, you know, Playing Ducks now down a map. It would be onto Team WD in terms of courtesy to make this next move. But it doesn't look like that. They're quite happy to stay in, although those 5100s are starting to head back and around. But they're going to be sitting in the cap. A couple of 5100s there. Dugges and 505, the wolf pack of doom. I think some people would now name them. But we have to wait and see, really. I think Team WD, their next move could be pushing towards the city and go for some sort of brawl there.
Right now, that 3-2 split has found itself grinding to a halt, however. QQ just watching down that one line We are seeing Siege and Iceman joining him as well. These 3 tanks sticking together. The others, the IS-3 and that kind of 110, making their way up that railroad line down the 5 and 6 section, trying to push in unison. And I'm not sure what they're hoping for here. I've never seen, you know, splitting your tanks up like this working too well, but maybe they've got a bit of a later on plan, maybe a master plan that will kick into effect momentarily. But Scarin and Wu looking like they want to make that kind of initial exchange, and then hopefully the guys around the side can actually do the damage. But right now it's gone the other way. Siege is now in trouble. He's going to have to back off. He's got 2 players staring him down. World of War and Nicholas Black in the ideal positions here, and this spells trouble. Iceman did get 1 shot to connect, but still it's not enough. The cap is beginning. QQ's been met by Mr. Chef. 1 shot will come back in, but still this is going to be a real brawl here, and you can see it going down on the train tracks as well. Doug is finding 1. That's Wu down. Scarin now left in a 1v2. He's got Doug is staring down. 505s there as well. He's on minus 300 HP. This is only a matter of time. This is 5 HP now. A strong breeze could take him out, but the shell will do just as well. And 505 will land that one, but QQ gets one back onto Mr. Chef, but that clock is still ticking.
Prokarovka is trying to get himself into this battle, but it'll be QQ to take him down. Iceman 2 HP, Nicholas Black 845, but we still got QQ from the side, but the I3 can one-shot both.
Yeah, indeed, that IS3 is going to be that big, important player in this one. Nicholas Black dancing between these two. He's just going to push in, take down Iceman, and look towards the remainder. QQ's making a run for it. He's had enough of this. He is out of there. He's got his ammo rack back up and repaired. He's got his right track back up and repaired, but he's got 13 seconds to stop this, and he knows Nicholas Black is hot on his heels. He's just going to try and go for the exchange. He knows the game is over. Surely they can't do anything. Ario's trying to get back to that cap point, but still, what can be done with 0 seconds left? Nicholas Black will come around for another little bit of an exchange, but right now it's Team WD getting another map beside them.
Looks like a very big change from Team WD at the beginning of the season
Very
onto
much
now.
so.
I mean, literally black and white for them. They've just turned it around, and playing Ducks, a team that's won against many of a good team.
Certainly.
And I honestly think the changes within the team, the roster changes, and just a change in attitude. Team WD completely outplaying playing Ducks on every single level of that map. And it's a hard one to play against. They waited a little bit, but that push with their tanks into the city, what was fantastic is that they found Seek in the Ensk just completely on his own, unsupported.
Yeah.
And then they did about, it took him down to 542 HP with 2 shots. And that's the IS-3's BL9, just obliteration. So just generally good play from Team WD, making sure that they're always thinking about their next move. They have all tanks together, all tanks supported. So they won both the the track engagement, but also the city. Very impressive.
And I think it might be time to go back to the drawing board for the playing Ducks here on this map. They've tried that green zone area. They've tried to make that one work, but as you can see from the last couple of play days, it's been a real kind of lackluster event for them. It's not been what they wanted. Iceman's always been picked up. What do you think they need to go back to? Just basics, try and work out that city push, maybe refine that down to a bit more of a kind of impactful strategy, maybe?
Yeah, they need to just get the basics down. Just make sure that they're supporting each other. They're making sure that they're playing as a team and not making stupid, thoughtless decisions. I don't think they have very many problems within the team. I think just a little bit of inexperience and a little bit of just uncertainty in some of their moves.
Yep.
And maybe just some miscommunication as well on their comms. Just general small problems they can just iron out.
They really add up as well, don't they? It's
yeah.
literally by the end of the game, it's those small choices and those small issues that maybe you weren't communicating right, maybe you weren't in-game leading as well as you should be. They add up to that loss, and that's where the kind of poor reads of the counter gameplay comes in. And it's so limiting, but we are getting ready for that. Well, it's going to be the final map, and this one's really gone quickly, and I can't believe that. Well, it's Team WD doing insanely well. They're on 3-1 right now. Can they get a 4-1 victory here?
That will be interesting. I mean, we've seen already 3-2, so I think maybe
your
playing
prediction
Ducks,
now needs to come in here.
Yeah. I think we're going to see 4-1. I'm hoping at least. And if Team WD do beat playing Ducks and Mines, that will truly cement them as a proper 742 team, because as you can see, 742 was specifically designed for Mines. It was the test map for Mines at the first tournament. Band 34 total times, it's pretty much on par with Abbey. These two maps not liked by the teams at all. Obviously, not for no reason, I don't know. Maybe some teams are still without Bisons, without Sturm Panzer 2s, without Lorraine's, without the GV Panthers, just a little bit too unpredictable, a little bit too hard to play when you have the other maps in the map pool as well.
Very true, very true.
But T1 AMX 3090 first pick from Team WoD, T1 T69 first pick for Playing Ducks. As we'd expect, we're probably going to see a mixture of those two tanks as well as a Pershing, maybe even a T32 here.
Yep.
If you're mouse sports, probably an IS3, but unlikely we'll see that here. Gun suppression obviously not favoured at all. But yeah, just waiting on the next pick. It will be Playing Ducks to do that.
Now, last time we saw a big bit of Lighthouse play coming into effect, and it's worked once, it's failed once when I've watched it. That's the only two times I've seen it really kind of put into effect. And that was when we saw an IS3 being used, and it was kind of crazy, it was kind of weird, and we were like, what the hell is going on? But that was the choices they made. Will we see maybe that Lighthouse play coming into effect again, or is this going to be our usual hill exchange, focusing around the mines? That's mines.
Yeah, I mean, we quite often see that MX 3090 push over towards the Lighthouse. Couldn't remember Lighthouse for a minute.
It's a hard word.
Yeah, Lighthouse Island. But it's sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, Atlantic Fantasia did a really good tactic on this map involving that island, but I have to wait and see if a team can quite get that execution down to a T. T1 AMX 3090 next pick by Team WoD. T69 AMX 3090 for Playing Ducks. So far, double AMX 3090, double T69, double T1 for Playing Ducks. Probably going to be the Pershing as their last pick. But yeah, Team WoD going for the double T32. I did say we could see that one, but not two. Looks like Team WoD just really liking those heavy tanks. We saw two of them on Prokarovka, two IS3s on Prokarovka. Now two T32s on mines. It does make it a little bit obvious that they're going to play it very slowly. They're not actually going to go for a push. But T32, the 298 millimeters of turret armor, very good. Playing Ducks also picking up one here as well, making their lineup double MX 3090, double T69, T32, double T1. But yeah, but that T54 E1 gun, it's questionable how much it can actually do. It can sometimes bounce a T69 because of the low penetration of 244. But 244, it's still plenty to penetrate a T69. It's still more than plenty to penetrate an MX 3090 as well.
Why two T32s? And why this?
Just because they're so strong. They are really strong. They're very good counters against the T69. But yeah, it looks like the Team WoD's last pick will be that Tier 8, new Tier 8 tank destroyer, the Waffentrager tank destroyer. It's going to be an interesting set of lineup for the side of Team WoD.
Melly's face when he said German words.
I pronounced something right. And
did you do it right? There's a nod. Wow, he nailed it.
I got
Look
something
at that.
right in German. Yes.
Wow. Oh
it's a first,
God.
guys. It's a first.
Say it again.
I'm not going to say it again.
Okay, you got it right
because
once.
I got it right once.
Okay.
There's not
That's
tempt fate here, Lauren.
I'm fine with that.
Once
so what can we,
is enough.
What can we expect from this? 'Cause I've never seen this in play before.
Yeah.
What sort of roles is it going to fulfill here? Where are we going to see it playing? What sort of capabilities does this tank have?
It's just a glass cannon. It really is that in a nutshell. It can penetrate from the T1 from the front. But its gun, 16 seconds reload, 750 damage.
Wow.
It's pretty much a beast. But having said that, I'm not sure exactly why it's favored over the ISU 152. The ISU 152 is almost exactly the same, pretty much similar reloads, bit stronger. I guess the Waffentrager does have a better set of HP, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
Quick question then. Two T32s and that in play. What is the setup here from these guys?
It's just a strange one. I mean, it's mental. It's just mental.
It's just a strange one. There's no predicting here coming out from us. I want to see what this can do. I want to see what those T32s are getting up to. I thought that was strange. Now they bring out this little bit of a beast in here in the hands of Nicholas Black, who already hit that ridiculous shot. So God knows what we're going to be seeing. I am baffled here, but what a great way to end this one out. Big credit to Team WoD. They've turned up today. They had such a bad losing streak, but they look like they're turning it around. If they keep this sort of gameplay up, they're certainly going to be a team to be looking out for in those last couple of play days. And, well, I want to see what this one's going to do, because mines, we see such a normal play style. We saw, a couple of tanks going towards the lighthouse, and we were surprised and shocked. Now we're seeing 3 questionable picks that are just kind of baffling to us, which is fine by me. I like seeing a bit of a new addition, but now it's down to Playing Ducks to deal with it. They've got a fairly standardized lineup. A T32 was a bit of a push, for them, but this time around they're facing off against only 2 of them and an extra tank destroyer in there. So kind of crazy stuff going on here, guys. Let us know your thoughts towards it as well. Obviously, do let us know via Twitch chat and on Twitter at WoT Pro League with these tank choices coming out. What do you think Team WoD actually have in store here? Maybe you've seen this before, maybe not. I'm not sure myself, but I'd really like to find out your thoughts towards this one. And do let us know how you've liked the show as well. Do you like the new tank select screen? Is that something you'll be looking towards seeing maybe in the next couple of shows and you're enjoying? Did you like the video on the break? Let us know. I do like hearing back from you guys. But still, 3-1, Team WD, the team who only just managed to stay down Spale. And I always kind of credit that to more Spale than anyone, who do seem to like losing their own games in the nicest way. They do seem to hand people on the plate. They have their moments. I think they'll even agree to it. They're a hit and miss team. I'm not being overly mean to them. They know their downfalls. But this is a real surprise, considering that Playing Ducks were in 8th, Team WD are in 11th. That's a huge difference to these guys. And this is going to mean the world to them. Obviously, getting that confidence beside them, finally building up some points. It's absolutely unbelievable to see it going in this fashion. I'm going to have to watch this demo back as well, and this VOD back, and find out exactly what went right, finally, for Team WD in comparison to the last couple of play days, because until that point, it's been such a long time until we see them actually performing at this level, and it's a really, really good sign. You know, playing against top teams gets them to this point, and that's what it's all about. So, guys, I'm going to stop talking because these guys are finally ready. So let's get that video rolling for Mines.
Mines, the original and best World of Tanks 7-on-7 map famed for its incredible tactical opportunities. A small map being 800 by 800 meters. The map has 3 primary routes of attack: the left flank through the water, the middle area, and the town side. The key position on this map is the middle area, as it provides great firing positions and areas of attack for the team that holds it. The middle area's primary entrance is the road passing through the middle of the map. It is essential that the teams take key areas around the hill, both of which are situated just below the hill, the north side and the south side. These locations can provide for some amusing tactics. The hill isn't the only means of attack on Mines though. There's also a housing area towards the east side that has a fair few routes of attack and provides great cover for advancing tanks. The water area can be an option for teams, however the soft ground makes it very hard for tanks to traverse rapidly, but leads straight to the opponent's base.
So welcome to the 5th and final map here between Team WD and Playing Ducks. Right now it's been Team WD all day long, but what can they bring this time around? Because at the moment it seems as though the Southern Spawn has really favoured the Playing Ducks side.
Well, Team WD going for the Ultra Turtle style, Nicholas Black in that Waffentrager 1100 HP.
You're loving saying that,
tier
aren't you?
Tier 8 tank destroyer. That has been introduced newly in patch 8.9, released on Wednesday. The 2 T-32s as expected, going up towards the hill with Mr. Chef in the background and Darges towards the right in the MX-1390. Playing Ducks also playing quite standard tactics, sending the MX-1390 up the hill. They have the faster lineup, so they do have that luxury. T-32 below as well as those 2 T-69s. But with the amount of damage Playing Ducks can really kind of pump out against those T-32s, well, not very much, because the T-32s have so much armor, so much HP, and as though that really tier 8 tank destroyer in the background to provide the firepower. Honestly, I don't see Playing Ducks winning this one.
Yeah, I feel as though there's no way back in. It's like those T-32s are being the main defensive base here for these guys and allowing, obviously, that newer choice to come in and be the firepower, as you mentioned. And this is going to be a real hard one to break here. And you can see a couple of shells going back and forth, a couple of them landing this time. Iceman is doing the work, but 505 now is in trouble. QQ pushing in. He's down to 522. Can QQ do anything here? He's actually got the attention focused towards those 1390s. Mr. Chef has taken down Cease. Excuse me, QQ comes in, but it's Iceman to land the kill and blow towards 505. And they brought it back all even.
T-32 down, very good move from the Playing Ducks side, but an MX-3090 also down. We have to question which one's really the better exchange. I would think the T-32 going down is certainly the worst for wear, to be honest. And World of War is also in quite a lot of pressure from Wustenfush, and so far that tank destroyer can't get himself into the game. And World of War down to 664, Mikizu on the background, and now Playing Ducks pushing in.
Yeah, they are not holding back for a second. They want to make the most of this. QQ goes in, Scarring as well. QQ takes down World of War. Mr. Chef tries to go in. There's that gun coming in. Nicholas Black melting down Scarring in one swift blow. But QQ on the reload. Iceman in trouble. They're not sure where those shells were coming from. Mr. Chef being the bait. QQ edging forward. Iceman letting the shell fly, but he's not got the connection he needed. And right now they're being outflanked. The tanks are behind them. And my word, this is not going well. Team WD have managed to take down a good couple of members here, but QQ focusing down right now. Mr. Chef is being surrounded, but can they actually take him down here?
Very good little couple of shots. I don't think they can, because that Tier 8 Tank Destroyer is in the perfect position to do the damage, and playing Ducks don't seem to really come onto that. They're going to jump down.
Woo is going crazy right now. He's just flying in, and they've done the work. Who's going to question them? QQ needs to leave this immediately, though. He knows that Tank Destroyer is not too far away. The cap is under pressure, but they've held back the threat for now, at least. Just that T69, just that 1390 left standing, but they're still doing work, and they're still doing what they can, because this is what it comes down to. Can they get back in time? Can they stop the cap and save the game?
Well, the cap will be taken down to about 30 seconds as Uto Kepes does get himself in there. Duggez is in the right position to get the sniping shots down, and Wustenfush is down to 807, so he's not going to have a hard time, but he's going to go for it anyway.
Yeah, Wu is going straight in there right now. Duggez on the point. There's the reset they were looking for, but can they get this one off the point? QQ just pushing straight in. Duggez is taking down Wu, and now just QQ and Ayo stand in a 1-2v3. QQ finding the shell, but it's not going well. 1-4-5. He needs the connections right here, right now, and they're not happening at all. It's a matter of damage coming in when just as they need it, but Duggez so low, QQ so low. He's going in for the ram, and he's just trying to reset as much as he can. Even the T1 flying damage in towards it, but right now Team WD just have the advantage in their hands, and they're enjoying that one.
Yeah, but Duggez, a very critical area from him. He couldn't connect those two shells. He had two shells, two possibilities to take down QQ. He was on 145 HP. He missed both of them for some reason, just not aiming, not going for the safe shot, just hitting the frontal glaciers, both bouncing. In fact, one missing and hitting the fence. And you think, you know, you have to hit those shells under pressure, you know, no matter what. Because now Duggez can get taken out, and Nicholas back, he can get outmaneuvered because he is in a Tank Destroyer, and QQ has reload.
Yeah, QQ is up and kicking. He's going to, oh my word, but it doesn't matter. Duggez absolutely spanks that last shell right towards him, and that was a brilliant way to end this one out. And maybe we'll be seeing that Tank Destroyer more into play, because that certainly did the work. What sort of damage did that actually hit?
2,384.
Yeah, definitely going to see that one in play.
Yeah, maybe. Just maybe, yeah.
I'm not against that at all. Loving that.
Yeah, but I think Playing Ducks kind of gave away that HP. They just literally thought, how can we get the Tank Destroyer to destroy us as quickly as possible? Let's push down the hill and put ourselves directly in the line of fire of that one. Not really thinking. I mean, the T-32 should have gone behind that rock instead of going towards the side, and the mouse trick just didn't work because Nicholas Black managed to connect that shell. I think also, instead of pushing just straight down the hill, they should have come off the actual hill, you know, not down the road towards the hill, just come off the hill left and right and gone from a split push there. Maybe even send a T1 over towards the cap. Send a T1. The T1 can kill that Tank Destroyer because of the low armor it has, and just get that to pester it to oblivion. But not really coming out with those strategies, but they had lost anyway, and 4-1 victory for Team WD.
Yeah, 4-1.
Impressive,
what
right?
a brilliant set of results for those guys. They really needed that. Literally, they genuinely needed it. They were at the very bottom of the league, and they've been struggling, but they bring out more play dates like today. I'm going to see them going up that ladder. They could be up that rankings in no time, especially when they can take down a team in 8th position in one swift move. 4-1. Wow. Really well played from those guys. But yeah, a bit of an upset to my eyes, and I can imagine so few of you actually predicted that one, because on paper, that was never going to happen. Never. But then again, this is the WoT Pro League where, stats and paper results never seem to come into effect. It's all down to how they play on the day, and that's one of the reasons I absolutely love it. So let's find out how many of you guys at home actually predicted that one right. Melly, how many people out there in the World Wide Web actually got that one correct?
Well, the Faith and Plain Ducks were pretty strong, with around 70%.
Wow.
And the predictions were pretty balanced. So we had a lot of people cheering for Team WD and for Plain Ducks as well. But we also saw a lot of 5-0 predictions.
Really?
So yeah, for Team WD. After last time's incident, let's call it that way, from Plain Ducks against Mouse Sports, getting completely obliterated 5-0.
True.
People expected kind of the same happening.
Wow.
But, well, it was close.
It was.
It was close. So it nearly happened again, but Plain Ducks managed to get at least one one map. So
they're improving.
Yeah, they're working on it, climbing the ladder upwards, one tiny step after tiny step. Yes, that's how you should do it. We also had a question regarding that incident.
Fire away.
Bring the
one of our
questions.
community members wanted to know, in front of the game, how do you pick yourself together after such a loss? And you know you have to step up your game. You definitely have to do better next time, because it can't get worse, to be honest. 5-0 is the worst ending of one of our games. And what is your mindset towards this?
Yeah, I think it goes for all professional sports. I mean, you come off a loss, and the worst thing that you can do is dwell on it too much. I mean, you've got to be very clinical about the loss. You've got to look back through your replays, look what you did right, what you did wrong, look what the other team did right, what the other team did wrong, and just fix it on a very, very objective level.
Yep. I completely agree with you.
And not get too down with it. Play with your team members. Don't ignore your team members. Continue building that synergy. Playing platoons, playing team mode, playing tank company battles, playing clan wars, whatever floats your boat. And I think that's the most important thing, making sure that everyone's still smiling, you're all still friends at the end of the day.
No, I do want to add to that point. In every other game that I played, even at a high level, the very best players in the very best teams are the ones who spend the hours going back through VODs, going back through demos, literally sitting there going, okay, why did they get to this position? In COD, in CS, is it because my nade wasn't there, my flash wasn't there? What went wrong in that millisecond that allowed my judgment to, be wrong when I got to it? And it's that analyzing of the minute details that comes into effect, and even perfecting, specific spots. I've seen so many, incredible moments unfolding in World of Tanks off a shot from a pixel. Literally, they can see nothing but a pixel. And to find those spots, you have to play thousands of games just to, inherently learn that these places even exist. It's like, okay, let me go through this map. This is our tactic. How can we adapt it? And it's just that meticulous kind of mentality that some of these teams have that's just ingrained in them. Will get you back up off those losses. And it's all about, how you collect yourself after the loss that creates the biggest teams and the best teams. Because, Dignitas and Virtus Pro weren't the best at the start. They've had to grind their own way up there.
I mean, you're talking about Virtus Pro. It's a team that for 2 years, a year and a half, came second, came third, came fourth at every single event. I mean, Starladder always behind the Red Rush, now Na'Vi. So they've had so many disappointments, so many roster changes, so many, bad moments in their career. But now, taking season 2, first place, season 1, second place, and everyone's saying these guys are gods. They've only just got themselves to that level. And it's not because they
suddenly woke up.
Yeah,
and they're like
they're not like Superman when they just woke up with this magical power to play tanks incredibly. It's thousands of hours of work. Yeah,
and every single game you see at the top tier level, it's that kind of work ethic that really does get them up there.
Well, I think that's something that differs kind of the casual gamers from the pro gamers to be able just to put that loss aside and to keep on, to continue what you're doing and holding on to your potentials. And thank you very much. The next question is, if my browser doesn't die, when is the T32 better and when the Pershing, regarding to the situations?
Yeah, I mean, I believe that.
Man.
T32, so obviously the Pershing has 1,450 HP, the T32 has 1,550 HP, so it can take more damage. It's also got more armor, and if you look at the side of the T32, the side profile, it's pretty much a track on wheels. So something like a T69 with the heat changes, it won't actually do damage. Now track's acting as spaced armor, so it'll bounce a lot of shells. It will absorb a lot of shells. So that's very important to keep in mind. So Pershing, it can be used on maps like Prokarovka and Steppes where you need more speed, more versatility. Whereas, a T32 can be used on a map like, Roonberg, Ensk. No, I wouldn't say Roonberg. I say Ensk, Himmelsdorf, and Mines, where really they're small, small maps, 600 meters for Mines and Ensk, 800 meters for Ensk, 600 meters for Ensk, 800 meters for Mines. Very small maps. You don't have to drive very fast, so speed is not so important. But armor and survivability are very important. The T32 has, almost 300 millimeters of turret armor. And if you're shooting AMX 3090s and T69s, 244 penetration it's plenty.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, that was all regarding questions. People at home, don't forget our actual big challenge. We have a big challenge on Facebook running. Check out our Facebook page, facebook.com/WoT Pro League, and have a look at our beautiful pumpkins. We create
beautiful is a strong word.
Yeah. They're pretty in their own ways.
Special.
I think a mother would call these the mother pumpkin of these ones would call it than beautiful.
And that's about it.
Yeah.
But head over to our Facebook page and check out the pictures and actually take part in that challenge, because a lot of money is on the line. So get your pumpkin carvings going and send us your submissions. We will also upload them on our Facebook page. So you have roughly a week time to get your pumpkin prepared and taken a picture of. And yeah, we're waiting for them. We're really waiting for them. And I hope to see a lot of nice pumpkins from you. And that's all from me.
Well, there you go. Get your pumpkin carving skills ready, because we can't wait to see them here. Obviously, we've tried.
You've given it a good crack.
We tried.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry that you've had to stare at them for a whole play day. We will remove them by the second play day. And speaking of that play day, it will be happening on Monday, obviously the 4th, which will be Matchday 17. And I assure you, there'll be some incredible games once again. So do not miss it, because we'll be here. Hopefully you'll be as well. So tune back in then.